Hey, how's it going? This is our Turtle Power Pizza lesson, where I'm going to take you through how to create a website on Dreamweaver using some stuff, some files that are in the assignment in Microsoft Teams. You should have everything you need in the assignment. You need to download all of that stuff, put it in a folder, and label that folder Turtle Power Pizza. And I think I have one. There it is. Yeah. So I've got this in my OneDrive, and it's called Turtle Power Pizza. And in that file, you should have two other files: CSS, which is where all of your styles are going to go, and then all of your images should go in this one. So to pay no attention to some of these things, we're working on it. You've also got the beginning index code, so you shouldn't have to start from scratch. Everything you need is should be downloaded and put it in this folder. In your OneDrive called Turtle Power Pizza. CSS, all your stuff will go in here. There's also some other things we're going to use, like a clear float that will help you later on, and we'll go through that. Okay, I'm going to open up my Microsoft Teams. Sorry for not having this ready to go. So let me go to Teams, and we'll go to Design, Assignments. Here we go. Pizza homepage sing-along. There we go. I'm going to go to Edit Assignment. There you go. Everything you need is going to be right in here in the instructions. And then, like I said, all of this stuff download into appropriate folders, and you should be ready to go. Okay? You ready to go? Fantastic. All right, let's get started. Dreamweaver. When you open it up, you want a new document. We want none for framework, HTML. We're going to do this totally from scratch. And I'm just going to, this is what goes in the browser tab. So Turtle Power Pizza, right? HTML5. I'm going to recreate I'm going to include the CSS new. So just create. And here we go. I want to do split. I prefer the vertical split. If you want to change it, it's up here under view and then split. And then you can choose whatever you want, vertically or horizontally. I like vertically. So let's get started. First off, we are going to have a header and an image, a nav bar, and then some other text and some other images. So try not to make this too complicated. Okay. Very first thing we're going to do is just insert our content, and then we're going to stylize it as we go. All right. So in the body section, right over here, give us some space. And the very first thing I'm going to write is turtle. Learn to type. Turtle Power Pizza. Okay. There we go. All right. Next, we're going to put our nav bar in. So home, and then menu, and then call us. All right. Next, I believe in Teams, I gave you some text that you can type or copy and paste. So I'm going to copy that. Dreamweaver. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. And over here in the live section, you can see there's no formatting whatsoever. It's just words that are just blah across the page. All right. Finally, down here, I'm going to put our little footer in there. And if you want to do the little copyright symbol, you can just do copyright if you want. But if you want the shortcut, I think it's, I think you type in ampersand and then copy. And then so doohickey comes up. I'm going to do 2021. Turtle Power Enterprises. No foot plan soldiers were in the making of this website. Ha ha ha. All right, so there we go. So over in your live section, you have a whole bunch of stuff. Over here, you just have a whole bunch of code. We don't have any CSS yet. We don't have any kind of anything other than just the stuff we've typed in. Okay, and from here, we're going to make this amazing, crazy website. Okay, first things first is right now, I want to save this. Okay, I'm going to save it in the Turtle Power Pizza thing in the folder. I'm going to say save, and I'm going to say yes, I do want to overwrite, and because I'm going to start from scratch. Don't be afraid of like tearing down your work and doing it again. It's okay. It's how we get better. just because you create something doesn't mean it's supposed to be forever. So by me overwriting that file, it doesn't mean anything. We're just going to do it again. Okay. First thing first, though, is I want to give these things some attributes, some tags. So this is my headline, my header. So I'm going to create a new one, create a new CSS, go to Browse, go to CSS, and I'm going to do Turtle Power Styles. Okay, Turtle Power Styles, and then hit OK. Perfect. In the code, up here in the title, up in the head section, here's our styles sheet. Here it is up over in our CSS Designer. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, great. We got that ready to go. Turtle Power Pizza. I'm going to highlight this text in our code over here. I'm going to go to Insert and Heading H1. Just going to give it a designation just to get started. Okay, here, Nav bars are typically created with unordered lists, so I'm going to wrap that in an unordered list. But then unordered lists also need list items. So each of these headings, I'm just going to say, give it a list item. Okay, wrap it in. And then just because I like to keep it clean, make sure you give yourself some room with these tags. Okay, so there we go. So we've got this. Finally, or ultimately, I'm going to wrap this in a paragraph tag because it's just a bunch of copy, a bunch of text. Okay, so I'm going to go to paragraph. There we go. And over here, you can see everything's kind of getting stylized like the way we want it. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to go here. Same thing. I'm going to do paragraph. Fantastic. Okay, so now it looks a little better because we've given it some tags. So now let's get started with trying to put this all together, shall we? Okay, so the very first thing I want to do is we're going to use the box model, and I'm going to wrap all of this stuff in a container, in a div. Okay, wraparound selection. That's what we want. We want to give it a class, so we want to stylize it later. We want to call it container. Hit OK. All right, so all of this now, you can see over here in the live section, it's all in one big box, right? Now, inside the box, we're going to have to encase a lot of these into divs so that we can control what's going on. So let's start with Turtle Power Pizza. Wrap it in a div, and I'm going to call this header. Okay, great. This over here, another div, call it Nav Bar. All right, how about that, Nav Bar? Okay. Again, trying to keep these separate. So here's there's my big div that everything's in. Here's a smaller div that the Turtle Power Pizza is in. Here's our Nav Bar, right? This I'm going to wrap in a div. I'm going to wrap that. I'm going to call this main text. Cool. And finally, down here, our footer. Go to div footer. Okay. Now, Dreamweaver does have certain specialty divs that you can use, and that's totally fine. I just decided to do it this way. I don't know. It's easier. Either way works pretty great. It just depends on what your personality likes you to do. Okay. First things first. Let's add some images, shall we? Okay. So in this div, this header div, underneath the H1, I'm going to insert the image, and I'm going to go to my images folder, and I'm going to go to Turtle's header adjust. Oops, I'm not sure where it is. It could be that we need to figure out what our that's crazy. That should show up. All right, let's figure out what our site is. Okay, so we want to do new site. I'm going to call it Turtle Power Pizza. I'm going to call it 2. You can call it whatever you want. The local site folder is going to be should be in my OneDrive here somewhere. There we go. We do that. That's our local folder. Awesome. Under advanced settings over here, default images folder. Want images. Select. Save. Okay. I'm going to save this now. We're going to save this as index again. I think we're pretty good there. Let me figure out why this image isn't coming on. Hang tight. Okay, so the problem was, I don't know what the problem was. I closed Dreamweaver and then I opened it back up, and there it is. There's my header. Okay, great. So I have some imagery. We got the header. We got the headline. We have this image here. We got our nav bar, and now I think I'm going to add another image down below in this main text here. And right after that div, I'm going to insert image, and I'm going to do I'll do this one. Okay, big image. Okay, great. And then finally, our footer is still there. Okay, we're getting a little closer. But let's figure out how to deal with all of these. So this one here is just huge, right? So it goes all the way. You know, it's a big image. It's great. It's better to size these down to benefit your website so that your file size isn't too big. But that's okay. For here, we're going to just chop this down. I'm going to make this whole website this width is 960 for the turtle header adjust. This is what I'm going to do the whole thing. Typically, you want to use either height or width for your images, and remember to put in an alt. So we'll do turtles header adjust. We'll just do turtles header image. Okay, that works. So let's make it 960. And so this image below, we're going to get rid of height, and we'll do main turtle image. And then we're going to take the width down to 960 to match. Okay, that's pretty cool. Fantastic. All right, great. This is looking good. Fantastic. Now let's add some color. Okay, we want to go to our Turtle Power styles. Okay, it's all ready to go to accept whatever beautiful stuff we throw in there. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to add a background color. So over in CSS Designer, I want to make sure my Turtle Power styles is highlighted. I want to choose a selector, and I'm going to do body because yeah, why not? Okay, we want to change the background color. So hit enter. We're going to go to background color properties, and I'm going to choose kind of a crazy green. I already have it saved here, and this is a good idea if you want to use this color over and over again. Yeah, make sure that you save it up here by hitting this plus here. Another way is if you want, the hex code, you can type it in here. Or if you want to take your eyedropper and go somewhere in here, and I'm going to type this darker green. Okay, and then I'm going to hit plus to save that darker green, and I'm going to enter. And then voila, our body is that darker green. Okay, a little hard to see though. So I'm going to go ahead and make another selector. And this time I'm going to do just dot container. And this time I'm going to make the background color. We'll do white. Okay. All right. So everything outside of this is green. And then our container is all white inside. Okay. And then we're going to handle margins and padding and all the rest of it. Let's take it just one step at a time. Very first thing I want to do then is let's deal with the very top thing. So this our H1 tag here. All right. I'm going to add another selector. And we're going to do dot header H1. We're going to tell the web page that everything in our header div, this thing here, this H1 that's in this header div, we're going to assign some stuff. We're going to give it a background color. So I'm going to make it, I don't know. Let's do this red. Okay. Why not? All right. I'm going to make I'm going to give it a font choice. And speaking of font choices, let's leave the font alone. Okay. And we're going to do the whole page with a font in a second. I am going to give it a border though. So make sure you select this one for all around, unless you want left, top, right, left, bottom, or left. Width, I'm going to do pixels, and I'm going to do, let's say, I'm going to do 6 pixels. Okay. Style, you got to have all of these: width, style, and color. I'm going to do solid, and then I'm also going to do I'm gonna leave it black. I think it looks pretty cool. Okay. I'm also gonna add an exclamation point just because I love it. All right, there we go. The last thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna center everything. So in our text, we're going to center that. Bingo. We can also change the size. And let's do, I'm going to do, I like percent because it kind of gives you a little more control over what's going on. And so let's make this like 400%. Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right. Big and bold. I like it. And then let's kind of, I don't like how that's kind of hugging the edges of our container div. So I'm going to shrink this down, go to layout, and our container is here, stand by. Okay, so sorry about that little break. Let's do, before we start messing around with this too much, let's mess around with container a little bit more. We didn't give this a maximum width. So let's make sure we get width, and then we'll do 960. Okay, now we understand if I move this over a little bit. Hello. It's not letting me. Actually, let's go in here and we'll just shrink this down a little bit. There we go. By control minus sign. So you can see right here, it's 960. And I don't like how this is hugging this. So let's kind of give that a little bit of a border. And by border, I mean we're going to mess with the margins a little bit. So I'm going to click in here. Here's our H1 tag. Make sure header H1 is selected. And then we're going to go with width. I'm going to take, it's maybe 30 pixels on each side. So let's make that 900. And then we're going to do display. Let's do, yeah, we're going to do margins under layout. We'll do 30 on this side. 30 on that side. Okay. And then finally, let's do 30 on the top too to balance it out. Okay. That balance, that should go down. Another thing you do with these margins too is you can do auto. And that will center it in there. This margin should be, yeah, but I'm doing the whole header, not just the box. That's weird. Okay. Well, we'll have to figure that out here in a second. Okay, so that's fine. Great. This image is kind of where we want it. I don't like how there's a space in there. So I'm going to give this image source, we'll do it a class, and we'll see if this works. Equals, we'll give it a class header image. All right. And then up here, we'll do selector. We'll just do header. We don't need to do header image. We can just do the one because there's only going to be one. And then in margins, I'm going to try something else. In here, I'm just going to go down here and say margin. Just going to do 0. Let's see if that works. It should suck that up there. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. I'll try to figure out why that's the case, but okay. Well, we'll figure this out. We're kind of on our way. The other thing we could do is we could get rid of this white and maybe have some fun with this. So maybe under container, we'll get rid of our background color. So everything's green. That's kind of cool. And then we'll just, let's take care of the font and stuff. So under body, let's go to text. We'll do, we'll change this as white. All right, that's cool. And then we're going to do font family. I don't know. I'm going to just pick this one. That's kind of cool. Okay, you can pick whatever you want. You can do alpha slab 1. You can do something like that. Whatever you want. I'm just going to choose that one because that seems to be pretty good. Okay. I'm also going to I'm going to bold it up. So under font weight, I'm going to go into let's just double that at like 800. Yeah, that's a little too much. I'll do 600. Okay, now at least you can see it on here. Okay, and then throughout here, because we don't have a font size, this will just be 100% of whatever it is. And then remember up here we did like 300, 400% or something like that. So we'll do the same thing down with this stuff. Okay, it looks a little better. All right, let's take care of the footer, just because it's going to be pretty easy. So down here, we're going to do make sure our CSS sheet is selected. I'm going to do plus. I'm going to do dot footer. All right. We're going to give it a background color. We're going to do it the same as the title. So we'll do that and hit enter, and we'll do border. We'll do I think we did 6 pixels, right? And then style, I'm going to do solid. And then color, I'm going to do just white again. Okay, go back to my text, make sure it's centered. Font weight, I want to make sure it's, let's do 600. Maybe we'll do 900. Nah, that's too much. Yeah, I'll just leave it at 6. Okay, not bad. So it sets it apart. That's kind of cool. All right, this is cool, and I like this and everything, but what if we want to float this text next to this picture? Okay, to do that, we're going to have to do a couple of things. Number one, we're going to have to make sure this text is in a div, which I think it already is, right? Div class main text, right? And then we're going to want to make sure this image is in a div. It doesn't necessarily need to be there, but let's play around with something. So I'm going to add another selector, and I'm going to use the class main text. All right, and then I'm going to go under layout. Let's see if this works. Float left. Yeah, see, it doesn't. How about if I float right? No. Okay, Dreamweaver is a little weird. So here's what we're going to do. We have this in a div. I'm going to put this image in a div. All right, and I'm going to go to insert, div, wraparound selection. We got class. I'm going to call that main-image. Cool. Here's the other thing I'm going to do. Because our website is 960 degrees wide, and this is 960 degrees, I'm going to need to shrink this down in order to float it next to our text here. Okay. So I'm going to take this down to 500. All right. There you go. So this is on the bottom of this. And then let's go back to our CSS designer, main text. We're going to have a width here of, since this is 500, we'll have to do the math, and we'll do 460 pixels. Okay, good. Now, if I want this one to be on the left and this is going to be on the right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and like right justify that, so it'll look cool once we get it all together. Finally, I'm going to wrap both of these into a div to keep them together. Although, let's see first before we do that. Let's do main text. We'll do float left. Okay, that works. Great. I'm going to do dot main image. And then we're going to do float left. And then something wonky with our footer. And so down with footer, I want to go down and make sure we clear both the floats. All right, that seems to work okay. This is a little small compared to the photo now. And I also need to put some padding or some margins in between there. So first thing we're going to do is under main text, go to our text properties, and I'm going to increase the size. We're going to do percentage, and let's do 300. Okay, too much. Let's do 120. Okay, that's better. How about 150? That might be it. How about finally, let's do 160. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, hit enter. And then we want to give us a little bit of space. I think I'll just put some padding in there. So under layout, right padding, we'll give it 20 pixels. I think it's a little much. So now I need to take down, because I added 20 here, I got to take my width down 20 here. There we go. Not bad. Okay. Finally, the one thing we want to do here is it kind of wants to center this in this div. I would like to, oops, sorry, don't do that. We'll take care of this in another lesson. But right now that looks pretty good. All right. If I wanted to create a little bit of space in my footer there, okay, we'll just go to our margin. And we'll just give it 20 pixels. It should work. I'm not sure why it's not. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, again, we'll address this in another episode. Finally, our nav bar. So there's a few things we've got to do here. First off, we need to clearly make this larger. So our div class here, we're going to add in nav bar. And down in the in our text, let's do our font size. Do percent. And I kind of like how this turned out. So let's do 160. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. Want to center these. And then we want to get rid of the, we want to get rid of these dots, and we need to get these so they're in line instead of stacked each. Right now they're in block, and we want to change them to inline. So there's a few things we have to do in order to make that happen. First off, text decoration. We're going to have, we need to add some links here, some anchor links in order to get this to link up to other pages, right? So let's do a couple things first. Nav bar, we're going to do, list style type. We're going to do none. And yeah, that's not going to work for just the div, because what we want to do is address these things. Okay. It's going to be the unordered list that we have to work on. All right. So there's a few things we got to do. First off, we need to make these linkable. So I'm going to go to insert, I'm going to double click home, insert hyperlink. And the link I want to do is index.html because it's relative to our site. So text is home, link is this. Target, you can do blank is a new window. Lots of these different options. I'm just going to leave that alone so it'll load up in the same window. Okay, there we go. And then same thing here, hyperlink. Even though I don't have these pages created yet, I'm going to go ahead and just hit menu.html, make it up. And then finally call us, same thing. Oops, do list time, do hyperlink, and call us.html. Okay, so now we have anchor links, we have list items, and we can change all of these things out. Okay, first off, these change blue. Okay, they also got underlined because that's internet shorthand for click here. So we need to get rid of bullets, we need to get rid of underlines, and we need to change these into a color that we like. I'm going to do it white. So first thing we're going to do is, back in our CSS designer, we have several different things under our nav bar. We've got the unordered list that we can change, and we've got the list items we can modify, and we have the anchor tags that we can modify. So down here, I'm going to add a new selector, and I'm going to do nav bar. And let's do the list items first. Okay. All right. List style down here under all of this stuff, right under text, right before border. List style type. We want to do none. Okay, that got rid of our bullets. All right. The other thing we want to do is we're going to float these things in order to get them side by side. So under here, float, I'm going to float left. Bang. There they go. Made everything really weird, but we'll handle that in a second. We need to give these things some room. So we're going to, under properties, go under margin right. And I'll add in, let's say 50 pixels. Okay, not bad. I'm going to do more like 100. Okay. Good enough. All right, 100 pixels. That's not bad. It pushed this back down, and we will deal with clearing the floats here in a second. All right, next thing I want to do, I want to go in here, do another selector. We want to do the anchor links this time because we want to get rid of those underlines. So I'm going to do Nav Bar. Oops, sorry. I'm going to do this. Nav Bar A for anchor link. Okay, so now we're going to customize these things. First off is we want to make sure they're block elements so that they we did the float so that they're in line. Now we want to stack those so that it doesn't affect anything down below. So down under text, we want to find the word display. Oh God, where'd it go? Sorry guys, hang on. Visibility, float, there it is. Display under layout. Sorry about that. That should be block. Okay. Color, we're going to go ahead and go into font, color, and make that white. All right, so I changed the color. Fantastic. Now we want to go to text decoration, none. That gets rid of the underline. Fantastic. I think I'd like to bump up the size of those if that's good with you guys. So I'm going to go font weight to 800. It's a little bolder. That's not bad. And then font size, I'm going to do %. Let's do 300. That's a little aggressive. How about 200? All right, that's kind of cool though. I'm not sure we need it font weight at 800 though. So let's take it back down to maybe 600. Yeah, better. All right, fantastic. And then finally, we want to let's put a border on these things. So on still on our anchor tag here, I'm gonna go to border, bang, and then we'll just use kind of what we've been doing. So like 6 pixels, and then we're gonna do solid, and we'll do the white. And even though it's the default is white right now, I just want to make sure it's white by putting it in there. Okay, very good. It's a little squished, so we want to add some padding to all of these to kind of make this feel a little more comfortable. Okay, so under padding, I'm just going to do this, and we'll do, let's say 10 pixels on the top and bottom, and let's say 30 pixels on the sides. So 10 tab, 30 tab. Come on. There we go. Make sure this is unchained so you can do this. 30, 10, 30. Okay. Not bad. Seems like maybe we need to cinch up our margins there. So under the Nav Bar Li, let's take this down to 50. Okay, that's not enough. 70. All right, that feels a little better, and we'll have to figure out how to center that. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost there. So we took care of the display. We took care of the inline, border, padding. Another thing we might want to do is kind of figure out on Nav Bar. Let's make sure that we've got some margins here. So let's do bottom margin. Let's try 30. Now, what that should have done is push this down, and I'm not sure what the deal is here. Um, we've got this div, this nav bar div, and that should have pushed all that down. I'm sorry about that. Let's check our CSS, see where we're at. Nav bar, 30 pixels. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Okay. Anyway, play around with it, see what you think. I'm sorry I can't get that going. The one other thing we're going to do is here under Nav Bar, I'm just going to type it in here. You can just follow along. Nav Bar. I'm going to do A, and then you can do this, hover. And this is going to allow us to change these buttons when they're over there like that. So I'm just going to give it a background color. And let's get the background color of our body. Let's copy that. And add it here. So when that's going on, actually, let's make that white. Oh, I need to add the hashtag. That's why. And then, see, oh, that's it. That's okay. Let's do this. Let's change this to color. And we're going to do background color white. Okay. And that way, I'm going to hit save. And then when you do this, then they flash. Okay, very cool. Okay, finally, I want to center this. We should have done this to begin with. So let's go up to container. And let's do margin left auto and margin right. So there we go. Centered. And then one more thing. Let's see under Nav Bar. Not sure why. Top 30 pixels. Let's try. You know what? That might be our challenge here. Okay, let's put all of this in a div, and I think that's going to handle that. So let's do this. Main text. We're going to wrap the main text and the main image divs. We're going to wrap those in another div, and we'll call this main content. It's still not working. These margins should be there. I'm not sure what the deal is. Goodness, gotta love Dreamweaver. Okay, main content, margins 30-30. I don't know, folks. That should be it. Anyway, that's pretty much how you get a website from scratch. Not too bad, not too shabby. Let's go over this in class when I see you, and we'll go from there. Have a great day, and talk to you soon.